There is something about night that makes cats feel different. The house becomes quiet. The lights go dim. Human voices fade away. And suddenly, your cat seems to become someone else. It runs down the hallway for no reason. It stares into dark corners. It scratches at doors. It jumps onto furniture at impossible speed. It watches you while you sleep. And sometimes it moves through the house as if it is following a world you cannot see. For many people, these moments feel mysterious, even a little unsettling. Why does a cat that seemed calm all day suddenly become so alert at night? Why does it race through the house like it is chasing something invisible? Why does it sit in silence and stare into the darkness as if it knows more than you do? The truth is, most of these strange nighttime behaviors are not random at all. They are deeply connected to the biology, instincts, senses, and emotional rhythms of cats. And once you understand that, those mysterious nighttime habits stop looking strange. They start looking like clues. Because night does not just change the room around your cat. It changes the way your cat experiences the world. Cats are naturally crepuscular animals. That means they are often most active during dawn and dusk, the low-light hours when their ancestors were most likely to hunt. So while humans are built to slow down and sleep through the night, a cat's body may still feel a quiet pull toward alertness, movement, and exploration when the house becomes dark and still. In other words, your cat is not being dramatic. It may simply be entering the part of the day its nervous system was built for. That is why one of the most common mysterious nighttime behaviors is the sudden burst of energy people often call the midnight zoomies. One moment your cat is lying still, the next it is sprinting from room to room, leaping onto the couch, sliding across the floor, and turning your peaceful house into what feels like a tiny storm. To a human, that can look chaotic. But behaviorally, it often makes sense. Your cat may be releasing stored energy. It may be responding to an internal cycle of alertness. It may be expressing a hunting instinct that has not been fully used during the day. Night brings silence, shadows, and movement cues. And in a cat's brain, that combination can wake up ancient patterns. This is especially true for indoor cats. A cat that spends the day resting may become much more active once the environment feels quieter and more open to exploration. So those sudden runs through the hallway are not always signs that something is wrong. Sometimes they are simply the body asking to move. Another mysterious thing many cats do at night is staring. At the wall, at the hallway, at the bedroom door, at a dark corner that seems completely empty to you. And because humans are meaning-making creatures, we immediately start imagining the worst. Is the cat seeing something supernatural? Is there something in the room? Is my cat scared? But in most cases, what looks like a cat staring into nothing is actually a cat noticing something your senses are too weak to catch. Cats can hear frequencies humans cannot hear well. They can detect small sounds behind walls, tiny scratches in the ceiling, distant motion outside the house, and subtle environmental changes that never fully reach your awareness. Their low-light vision is also very different from yours. So when your cat sits in perfect stillness and stares into the darkness, it may not be reacting to nothing. It may be responding to a quiet world that is very real to it. And that does not make the behavior less mysterious. It just makes the mystery more biological than magical. Another behavior that feels deeply strange at night is when your cat watches you sleep. Many people wake up and find their cat sitting on the bed, on the dresser, or in the doorway, just staring. That can feel eerie, but often it is a mix of curiosity, routine tracking, attachment, and nighttime alertness. At night, your breathing changes. Your scent settles differently in the room. Your body becomes still in a way that makes you easier to observe. And if your cat is bonded to you, it may simply be checking in. Not because it wants to frighten you, but because, in the stillness of the night, you become one of the most interesting things in its environment. Some cats also become more vocal at night. They cry outside doors. They meow in empty rooms. They call out from the hallway. And this can happen for many reasons. Sometimes it is boredom. Sometimes it is excess energy. Sometimes it is learned behavior because nighttime meowing once got a response. Sometimes it is age-related confusion in older cats. And sometimes, especially in intact cats, it may be linked to reproductive behavior. That is why context matters so much. The same nighttime meow can mean very different things depending on the cat, the age, the environment, and the pattern around it. This is also true for nighttime restlessness. If your cat keeps moving from place to place, scratching at doors, jumping on furniture, then pausing, then moving again, it may not just be acting odd. It may be searching for stimulation. It may be checking territory. It may be responding to sounds outside. Or it may be struggling with stress, understimulation, or a disrupted routine. Cats are animals of pattern. And when that pattern feels off, nighttime is often when the behavior becomes more visible. Because nighttime strips away distraction. It leaves your cat alone with its senses, instincts, and emotional state. There is also something important about territory. Cats do not stop caring about their environment when the lights go out. In some ways, nighttime may make territorial awareness even stronger. When the house is still, every sound stands out more. Every small motion matters more. Outside, cats may pass by windows. A scent may drift in from under a door. A sound may come from the roof, the yard, or the hallway. And your cat may respond by patrolling, staring, listening, or becoming unusually alert. That behavior can feel mysterious when you only see your cat pause and fixate. But from the cat's point of view, it may be doing something very practical. It may be checking whether its world is still safe. This is one reason some cats insist on sleeping in very specific places at night. At the foot of your bed, near the door, by the window, in the hallway, on a high surface where they can watch everything. That choice is not always random comfort. Sometimes it is strategy. A place with visibility. A place with scent security. A place near the person they trust. A place that lets them monitor movement. And suddenly, what looked like a weird sleeping habit starts to look like emotional logic. Some nighttime behaviors are also about emotional regulation. A cat that curls up near you at night may be seeking warmth, scent, routine, and safety all at once. A cat that suddenly leaves the bed and disappears under a chair may be trying to regulate overstimulation or regain control over its space. Because cats do not just react to the world outside them. They are constantly managing their internal state too. And night can intensify that process. Everything is quieter. Every feeling is easier to notice. That is why some cats become more affectionate at night, while others become more distant. The darkness does not create a new personality. It reveals which emotional needs become stronger when the world goes still. And then there is the behavior people almost always describe as spooky. When a cat suddenly freezes, pupils wide, ears forward, body still, staring into darkness as if it senses something you cannot. In a way, it probably does. But that something is usually not paranormal. It is sensory. A tiny rustle, a distant vibration, a flicker of movement, a sound in the walls, a shift in air. Cats are built to detect what other animals miss. So the real question is not, why is my cat being weird? The better question is, what information is my cat picking up that I cannot? That question changes the mood of the whole experience. It replaces fear with curiosity. And that matters, because understanding reduces unnecessary anxiety for both the owner and the cat. Of course, not every nighttime behavior should be dismissed as normal. If a cat suddenly becomes much more vocal at night, seems distressed, appears disoriented, shows signs of pain, startles easily, or develops a dramatic behavior change out of nowhere, medical causes should be considered. Pain, hyperthyroidism, cognitive changes in older cats, anxiety, sensory decline, or environmental stress can all affect nighttime behavior. This is especially important if the change is new, intense, or paired with other physical symptoms. So yes, many nighttime cat behaviors are instinctive and harmless. But context still matters. Pattern still matters. The cat in front of you still matters more than any single explanation. And perhaps that is the most beautiful thing about trying to understand cats at night. Night reveals how much of a cat's life happens beyond human language. Through listening, through sensing, through movement, through stillness, through territory, through pattern, through quiet, emotional choices. What looks mysterious to us is often your cat living inside a world far richer in scent, sound, and subtle detail than the one we notice. So when your cat runs at midnight, stares into a dark room, watches you sleep, meows down the hallway, or patrols the house like a silent guardian, try not to laugh it off too quickly. Try not to rush to superstition either. There may be a real reason behind it. An instinct, a sensory cue, a territorial check, a need for stimulation, a need for comfort, a quiet emotional response to the world becoming still. And once you start seeing it that way, your cat's nighttime mystery becomes something else. Not a puzzle to fear, but a language to learn. Because sometimes, when the world goes quiet, your cat is not becoming stranger. It is becoming more fully itself. If your cat does something mysterious at night, share it in the comments. And if you want more videos that decode the emotional world of cats and dogs through both science and feeling, subscribe and stay with us. Because sometimes the strangest behaviors are the ones that reveal the most.